Friends, good morning. Man, I am ready for this. I'm ready for this month. I'm really ready. SoFi, Applied Digital. I think these are two stocks that are going to do absolutely phenomenal going into the new year here. And I have to talk about this because this is bleeds over the whole market right now. I don't want to say too much because I did this in the video last night, but on the main channel. But Tom Lee just gave his kind of thesis. He is still very bullish that we're going to get, he thinks, well over 7,000 point range in the S&P 500. He thinks, with the rate cuts coming next week, that, the market will start to tick up more and more. I think he's probably right. Obviously, the market, Monday, we didn't get a whole lot. There really just wasn't anything going on. I think right now the market will probably be at a standstill at least till Wednesday when these last little bit of reports come out containing some job information. With that, obviously rate cuts are probably coming regardless of how, this report would have to be like super duper amazing for them to go like, oh, I don't think that's happening. And, this is not, something got fixed that fast. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday could be better, will probably be better days in the market here. Next week, obviously, with the Feds talking and giving this last little bit of rate cut will be good here. This is the thing too, where this will essentially be more than likely Jerome Powell's last rate cut, a part of, as chairman with the Feds. He's gone. He's gone in May. So with Jerome being gone, January, February, March, April, May, I think it's May. Is it March or May? It's one of those. It's with an M. He will be gone. So we know that Trump is already going to put someone, and the people that Trump is actually looking at, they're not even like in the circle of the Feds. They're actually not even part of it, so I don't know how he's going to do this. But there's one in particular that he does like with the Feds right now that's actually in the council. But either way, that's a whole nother bag of bones here. The main thing that I do know what's going to happen here, he has made this very clear point to, pen to paper here. They're going to do what he says. And what Trump wants right now is rate cuts. They want aggressive rate cuts. So by summer of 2026, this is where this attitude is coming from, people like Tom Lee, from, these analysts out there now coming out with their predictions of like, hey, we believe the S&P 500 can easily run to 75, 76, even some are saying 8,000 point range by the end of next year. Crazy. So this is kind of what's going on right now. This is why a lot, Tom Lee especially, because I talk about Tom Lee a lot. I'm very big, I'm a big fanboy of Tom Lee, because he's got a great track record. Obviously, he's been wrong in the past, but too, he's been spot on this year. It's been kind of crazy. But with this is why bank stocks should be taking so much of your attention right now going into next year into ETFs, probably even REIT stocks. A lot of the conversation, they could be some heavy gainers going into next year, depending on how that, with the housing market, rate cuts, all that kind of stuff. But SoFi, undoubtedly, I think these are the last little tailwinds right here where we're going to get out of the 20s here, and it's going to be like, bye 20s, bye. It's so obvious what SoFi is trying to do right now. It is trying its hardest to get out of this $20 range here, and it is darn near about to. Right now, even with the market Monday not giving much, SoFi really did not lose much. It still stayed teeter-totter in this $28, $29 position. So this was great. This is, by next week, we could have all new highs. I would not be shocked to see next week we could be easily 32, 33, 34, potentially 35. Rate cuts are going to be a part of the secret sauce here for what SoFi needs, getting into some thicker numbers here going in 2026. Not only that, what's so special about SoFi too, if there's someone here like, what is the big deal about SoFi? Obviously, fundamentally, everything they're doing as a company, amazing technology. I could go on, and I have. What they just did with crypto, great. Okay. With that, this is a very special moment with SoFi because you are in such perfect growing season, pains, whatever you want to call it right now with SoFi, where still pretty much affordable stock, I would say. It's a lot more expensive than it was last year, but still it's affordable. And with that, we are in the tailwinds of coming into Q4. Q4 undoubtedly is showing strong signs of being over $1 billion. Q1 starting off the year for 2026, easily can be another billion plus. SoFi has been doing so well, so aggressive with quarterlies. Who's not to say that this is just going to be what we see all of 2026, where they may not be like breathtaking quarterlies where they're like Palantir quarterlies where they're like jumping on, like doubling, tripling on top of each other, but they're showing high, strong signs for a new company in growing at a fast rate. It's not only quarterlies that are showing strong signs here with SoFi, it's their attention to detail with building their business into customer basis. They're still getting a ton of customers each month going into that chunk of that quarterly that are driving up new accounts. I say all of that to say, you haven't missed the boat. I think right now there is, we've been at sea here sailing, but we're at this stop here and where people can easily get on and go to the next destination that is going to be very, very beautiful. So, whatever you want to make out of that, I think that's really where we're at right now, where the next stop is going to be at this $1 billion quarterly. And, we're only $50,000 shy. Essentially, roughly. I don't think that's going to be that hard for SoFi to make just in general transactions. I think that's kind of what they're saying at this point. Getting into this position where SoFi is going into next year, there is this other huge conversation that is going to undoubtedly drive up stock share price. It's S&P 500 inclusion. Every year there are companies that are put in, there's companies that are taken out, there's stocks that are taken out, but there's also stocks that are put in. And with that, we probably will know pretty soon going into the new year what will be picked. A lot of people are speculating right now, especially the faster SoFi can get this quarterly out to show like, hey, they're top dog, they're in this $1 billion quarterly range. Growth is, growing increasingly, and projections throughout, here on out, as far as they can see, are really good. I think inclusion into the S&P 500 is more than likely going to happen. And two, what better time? The S&P 500 is rolling right now. So this is going to be undoubtedly great place for people to get in right now. It's a very special moment for SoFi. It's a very special moment for SoFi investors. I don't think it's a matter of people need to be concerned about like, it's struggling. The market right now, here's the God's honest truth of what we're about to see here. As long as these rate cuts show up here, the market is showing all signs of wants to run. If the market starts running here with this, if the S&P 500 shows signs of we're going to 7,000 point range, we're going past that actually. Hey, that Tom Lee prediction, what he's saying could happen, it's happening. The market will drag stocks with it. It will, the Mag 7 will drag everything with it. Tech stocks, ETFs, everything, low cap, stocks, everything will get dragged with the market here. Okay, so bank stocks will get dragged with the market. There's going to be push up on everything, what we're about to go into. This is why a lot of people are trying to set up positions right now, and Monday not showing strong signs of really push or sell. That was a strong indicator, like positions are made, soldiers are at their helm. We could be going into towards the end of this week. We're getting ready. Next week, here come the feds. They're going to say, hey, rate cut. Boom. From then on, we could be going into a very beautiful moment with, the last few weeks here of the market in Christmas. It's going to be interesting too, because we have some holidays wrapped up in there. Kind of what I think could potentially happen here with this market is that here's kind of just a rough bullet points in my head, and not that I'm some guru in the market, but this is essentially what we're looking at here. Okay, let's say, yes, we get rate cuts next week. Fantastic. From that point on, somewhere in that time zone, in those next, 10 to 15 days of trading, the market does well. Okay. Somewhere beginning of January, we see some sell-off, maybe even before that, because people are wanting to take profit, get their taxes in order, all that kind of normal stuff at the end of December. Okay. Somewhere in that time zone. Okay. Sell-off. Market kind of goes red for a moment. Woo, we just had a big push here. We get deeper into January. What do we know? Well, we know we're closer to Jerome Powell being out of office. But two, we're getting into conversation of here come quarterlies, here come the Q4s to wrap up 2025. Mag 7 already showing signs. They've already pretty much said, like, hey, we're gonna knock out these quarterlies. We know Apple, Nvidia, Amazon, Meta, that's pretty much solid quarterly growth. What we know is going to happen here from from them having products, from them doing such, making so much money just off ad revenue, Google, all that, Meta, they're going to do great. Okay, from that point, it's very interesting, from March on, because then we'll be in this little bit of kind of unknown time at that point. What will the market be doing? What's going to be happening here? I think there, as sad this may sound to say, but there could be somewhat of a rally and celebration in the market with Jerome Powell leaving. I think that's a possible thing that could happen here. When Jerome Powell, it's official, he's gone, and Trump replaces him with pretty much like someone just like hit the button for whatever Trump wants, push that narrative. The market probably, it could react like there is a rate cut happening at that moment. So it's going to be interesting how this unfolds here. This is kind of what's in my head right now with the overall next 6 months on the market. But I could not choose a better stock to ride this wave with, and that's SoFi 100%. So that's kind of what I'm looking at here with the next big moments, if you will, in the market here. So SoFi, yes, definitely bullish, 100% bullish on this, man. And talking about Applied Digital, just a short conversation here. I could not be more excited to see what this company is going to do. This was a shocker of a year. Like, listen, when this thing was at the beginning of the year, like $5-10 stock, I was very bullish on it. I was like, man, this is easily going to push into like $15-18. Okay, we hit that. Obviously, September, October, very good to us. This stock ran up to 40 and some change here. And now we're back even at this almost $30 range with Applied Digital. Data center stocks are going to be very interesting, and they're already showing significant signs of growth. This is why Applied Digital is getting so much business, so much success. Anywhere from, Nvidia just released their quarterlies, and they made a ton of money on their data center, okay? And they're pushing more into it. Amazon, they're all doing this data center stuff. These are the new thing, and obviously 2025 is going to be 2026 is going to be a hot commodity ticket for data centers. With Applied Digital already showing strong growth, strong signs just in this area of data centers getting this kind of attention, I can only imagine how much more the growth will continue in the overall ecosystem of data centers. And Applied Digital could not be positioned better. That last quarterly was breathtaking. I mean, that came out of nowhere. Now, we knew it was going to be good because they had some significant deals, stuff taking place here, and they still are building. They're still like doing things over there. I mean, they're literally, nailed that wood here. They're still building, but they're pouring concrete still, for God's sakes, in some areas. But they're growing. They're growing, and it's a phenomenal thing to see. So I would not count the stock out. I don't even have a projection of what this stock is going to do. This stock has blown me away this year in all the right ways. I cannot believe what this stock has done this year. I cannot believe. To me, this is an unsafe stock to call because I could easily see this stock running so much more aggressive. I could see this stock easily pushing to $70 somewhere next year, but I can easily see something, the slightest thing going wrong, where the company has to maybe allocate money somewhere else. Investors don't like that. Maybe, the next quarter comes in a little weak and we see, sell down to 25. But the thing too is, if they release this next set of quarterlies and they are in this $60-70 million range, oh man, this will easily tick back up into this $30-40-50 range. There's no doubt about it. This could be a very aggressive stock this year. It could, honestly, this is probably one of the best stocks I caught all year, and people aren't even listening to me talk about it. I've tried to talk about this video like its own dependent video, but people don't care. So for people that were buying this at $5-10 when I was yapping my gums about it, congratulations, man. This thing I've done incredible. So friends, take care of yourself. I will talk to you soon, and be excited. This is a phenomenal time to be a part of what's going on in the market. We got 30 days. Let's see what happens here. This is our Christmas moment. Bye everyone.